right, contractors. This is for the DIY to educate themselves on what to ask the contractors. Contractors, you want to build something like this when the lot's too low and there was a forced walkout. All right. In those pictures, you could see that the water was up on this step. So that just shows you how high the water was. So we took a boulder wall, and then there's so much additional dirt and lift here. You can see how beautiful this turned out. You know, there was that fire pit in the pictures. The water line was up on the fire pit quite high. So what we did is we carved the grade down, guys. We graded it really hard towards this back retaining wall. We took all that additional fill and put it right up over the wall. So you can see the elevation we have up here. I mean, look at this. Storm drains down there. Now, this was an issue. You know, we were discharging the water up high so that when that storm drain stops taking in water and the water just all gathers here, I actually think that the water backs up in extreme cases on this one. Usually they don't. They just stop taking in water, and then you see a bunch of water. So we have our discharge line up high. Just, you know, I didn't want it to be underwater. It would work underwater, but it works much better when there's no resistance. I don't have much head, because you figure there's our cast iron frame and grate. Storm, you know, that's what that grate says. It's, you know, so people know it's storm.
Let me show you the video of when we installed that sump pump outdoor basin.
You reach down in there and push those clumps that way, and then I think we're good. And I think it's going to sink in this mess a little bit too. About 1.5 inches deeper than 5 feet.
So Scott and his crew, you could see how detailed this is. We want to make sure we get this outdoor sump pump basin set. It's got to be money. It's got to be spot on. So you heard Scott say that he's just a little deeper than 5 feet. This is a pretty big basin. You're going to see the guys work together as a team to get this basin in place. The reason why we have our fabric around it, I want to get the subsurface water with this basin too. So in order to do that, we drilled a bunch of 1/2-inch holes, believe it or not, on this 24-inch round. That's a big giant chunk of Baughman dual wall 24-inch culvert pipe. We drilled a bunch of holes, made that thing look like Swiss cheese, wrapped it with our fabric, and we put a bunch of drainage stone around it. We also end up doing a open French drain along the back wall, and we went ahead and did that core that you've seen us do in the past with the rubber gaskets so that none of the stone and dirt falls into that. And we put a cement floor in on that. Matter of fact, that's why that weighed so much. We actually fabbed this stuff up and then bring it to the job. And in the shop, we put a cement floor in that one. We're going to throw this iron frame so that we can notice how there's a grate there. We were building this during the rainy season. It was unfortunate, but sometimes it goes like that. When it rained, we didn't want this to be a lake, so we just put that grate there. Once we got our open French drain in, we no longer needed the grate, and we went to a solid cover. What's nice about using the iron covers and frames, They weigh so much that I never have to worry about children messing with it and somebody getting hurt and falling in one of these deep sump pump basins. So there you have it. That's the installation. As soon as we got it in, it was taken in water.
And we put cobblestone all in here. That's an open French drain, guys. Open French drain all through here. And then we got this with a really nice pitch. One time the GFI got thrown and this stopped pumping. That's why we pitch and dig them out. You could hold probably a couple thousand gallons of water before it would breach the walkout. Our favorite block, the Keystone. You know, the Fent here in Michigan distributes. Did what we call waterfall steps into the pool yard. They had some broken concrete, so we went ahead and carried the brick through there. You know, it really did turn out nice. Matter of fact, this was almost like a blessing in disguise for the homeowner, because then they ended up with this beautiful outdoor living space, much more so than what they had going on before. And look at that. Just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So everybody that came and saw the pictures and were here with their measuring wheel and a tape measure, they looked at the homeowner and said, okay, what do you want me to do? They all turned and ran. Not a one came back with anything, because the homeowners were like, no, you tell us what we need to do. Oakland Township, Michigan, went to Oakland Building Department, fix it with landscape treatment. That's what they said. Look how high this is. Look how nice that's built up. So then they went to county. Let's not go to Oakland Township Building Department. Let's take this to county. County didn't have anything for them. County's like, look at the elevation, the lift. So guys, there's nothing in the code book about this. And the whole reason why they want to fix it with landscape treatment is because you're doing so much shit against code. It's not even funny. We're like the guys that do the dirty work around here. I'm okay with it. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. Oakland Township does not want to. And I've been to their township begging them for permits on stuff that I didn't want liabilities held. I wanted it inspected. And they won't inspect landscape treatment. Why? Because there's so much going on here in Oakland County, Michigan, that's all jacked up and screwed up like this. And they need us to come in and do their dirty work to make it right. So I just want to give you another example, another choice, and how you can turn a bad situation into a good situation and create just like a beautiful outdoor living space for your client. And homeowners, you can tell landscapers when they show up with their measuring wheel, show them this video and their measuring tape and say, what do you want us to do? Because they all turn and run when they see those pictures of all that flood water, because they really, most people don't understand how to deal with something of that magnitude. Just scares them off.
I put the drone up so that you guys could get a bird's eye view. Now you can see the overall picture here. You see the staircase from the driveway, the gate that I was standing at, the water was up on that bottom step. I'm going to insert a couple pictures for you to check out, because the neighbor took pictures from their second-story window, and I want to show you what this yard looked like when it was just flooded and holding all kinds of water. So here's those pictures. So now you see why we had to change the elevations of this yard. Usually, you cannot change the elevations of your yard to the degree that we did for these folks, because what happens, everybody in the neighborhood is responsible for a certain amount of water to be displaced in the event that the storm drain backs up. If everybody's displacing this, same amount of water, kind of sharing it, it's not an issue. Well, what happened was there's a pool to your right. You can see a little bit of the deck and the fence around it. Not the homeowner I worked for, but behind them. They used to displace a fair amount of that water along with my client. Once they put that pool, that in-ground swimming pool in, they had to elevate the whole yard in order to do that. They no longer displaced any of that water, and it all ended up on the homeowner that I was working for. So there's so many things that change drainage, change standing water, the amount of water in a yard. But one thing I want to make clear in this video, when you have a contractor tell you, move, put your house up for sale, I hate that. I hate when they do that. You pick the house that you love with the school district that you want your children in. It's part of you. It's your personality. You picked that house because you fell in love with the architectural structure. Then you got some clown that comes in with a measuring wheel and a measuring tape, and he doesn't know how to handle the situation. He tells you to sell your house. Guess what? These people, they absolutely love their house. I took care of their water problem. Every time we get like a 4-inch flash flood, I get a text from them thanking me. And it makes me feel great. It reminds me of why I do this in the first place. So, again, usually changing your topals, like when you talk about all the elevations on your topal, you're not supposed to change them to this degree. But like I mentioned when I was on the ground, giving you a walkthrough, they want us to do their dirty work here in Oakland Township, Michigan. That's why they won't inspect any of what they call landscape treatments. And you know what? I'm good with that. Because as you can see, the neighbors are happy. My client is happy. And here, this was something that they couldn't do anything about. Their infrastructure wasn't handling it. The money wasn't there to reconstruct what was obviously a system that never could handle the water in this neighborhood to begin with. And it was built in the 90s. It wasn't something that was from 60s or the 70s. It was, during the 90s, there was a lot of crazy stuff that went on. We're not even going to get into that. But the technology and the awareness was there. So how this got missed is beyond me. But sometimes the engineers miscalculate things. And I've been a part of that several times now. So, if there's any engineers watching this, I don't want you getting angry. I don't want you thinking I'm taking a jab at you. But, we're all human and mistakes get made. So, guys, here's another option for you. If you got a walkout basement, if you're a DIYer and you got a walkout basement and you have this issue, this is what you want to do. You want to get some contractors that are qualified to do this work, and you want to get a master plan that you can distribute to a few good guys that are qualified and have them all bid it. This is not a DIY-friendly job. I'm well aware of that. This job took an experienced group, my veteran crew, several weeks to get in. If you like the videos that I do like this, show us by literally liking the video. I see how many likes we get per video, and then I know what you guys want. I have tons and tons of stuff that we can show. I got hundreds and hundreds of videos that I want to get out for you guys. So like it, let me know that you like it, and then any questions you need me to answer, leave them in the comments section. Until the next video.